Hi, I'm Abdurrauf Henslow and this is the SA Diplomats YouTube channel. Today we're looking at captains of industry under our segment Pride of Our Nation. So in South Africa we've had a tremendous amount of captains of industry, but abroad we failed to identify those captains who's flying the flag high around the world for South Africa. Today I'm joined by a captain in our industry, Mr. Anwar Al Moola, who is, I'm going to leave it to him to explain. But firstly, as an introduction, behind the camera we have Ahmed Mujahid, and the person keeping us on our toes today is Mr. Abdul Malik as the producer. Please subscribe and like our channel going forward. Anwar, it's a pleasure having you here, and you know it's always welcoming to sit opposite a captain of industry and a person that's flying the flag high for our country. And this, obviously, we're trying to build as a bilateral selling point to the countries that we are hosted in. So, from our side, thank you for being here. And it's an absolute pleasure having you here. But you have obviously shown a tremendous amount of tenacity from a South African perspective in showing that I am South African, proudly South African. And I've stood out in society here in Qatar. So we've chosen you very carefully out of a select few to be the captain of industry for this one, under the pride of our nation. How do you feel about that, firstly?
Firstly, thank you very much for having me on this initiative, your program called Captains of Industry. I'm proudly South African. We can never take that away from me. People look and say, you know, where are you from? And I said, my DNA is South African. I'm honored to be involved in this. I hope that whatever comes out of this inspires other South Africans to follow the same pursuit if possible, or get into whatever their expertise are and use them abroad and be successful. I came here in 2000, July 2000 to be exact, in the peak of summer, so it was 50 degrees, and to be very honest, I was working on one of the buildings and I was drenched and I had to go and buy 2 ice creams. I found 2 Magnum ice creams, same like back home, and that quenched my thirst.
Yeah.
There onwards, prior to that though, I must say that I really enjoyed working in Johannesburg. I'm a Durban boy, but I loved working in Johannesburg. I'll go back to Johannesburg any day. And my inroads to this part of the land was whilst working in Johannesburg. And every 5 weeks, I used to be in this part of the world, Dubai, Doha, for business purposes. And what happens here is when the region starts to like you and they notice your expertise and your asset value, they will come and get you.
Now the city that you're located in is obviously Doha, and we've been here for a very short while, and this is only one of our mediums that we put out from this area. And the one part of history that we really admire about this city is the growth, the exponential growth that we've experienced over the only space of 10 years, I think.
Yeah.
We've seen a boom in this. How is that? How have you added to that, and how has that affected you as a businessman in this area?
So when I first came here, there was less than 500,000 people in population.
Yeah.
There was 180,000 Qataris,
Goodness.
and we're just 320 odd thousand expats. It was small, it was beautiful, but it started growing. And how did we South Africans add to it? We started getting involved in the critical infrastructure and development of the country itself. In my early years, I was voted or elected as one of the ACES committee security member. This is a worldwide organization, and in Qatar we are only 80, and I was one of the 80 nominated as a member of that security standard where we used to advise some of the government departments on security threats, technology, the latest technology out in the market. And we were gearing up at that time towards Asian Games 2006. There were many other South Africans in the oil and gas industry as well that I got to know and work with closely with Qatar Petroleum and the other gas and petroleum companies. But we've all added, all of us added, and time has just evolved, just as technology did. And every time we reach a level, we just get better. Whilst you're sitting here right now, there is technology being developed, and I want to know what that technology is yesterday. I don't want to know what's happening today or tomorrow. That's how we South Africans are, and that's how we think.
Now the one thing, you know, I cheated slightly because I read your Ben Duffy before I brought you into the interview.
Okay.
And there's one specific part that stands out to me, and that was, you know, Doha has been very fortunate that they've won the bid for the 2022 World
Yes.
Cup. And from a project award perspective, you've received a project award from FIFA for the 2022 World Cup. That's not something small, Anwar, and we are very proud as South Africans to be sitting here and speaking to you, who's the recipient of that type of award. And by the way, the World Cup's not in South Africans in Doha,
Yes.
but a South African won the award.
That's correct.
So how did you get to that point, and what was the cause of you winning that award?
So I'm very much a technology geek,
Yeah.
and like I said a couple of minutes ago, I always look for something or technology that's unique, that's
Yeah.
not even out or probably out, but how can I evolve it to be better? And living in Qatar for such a long time, I feel part of the infrastructure and part of the people. I studied Arabic as a language, so it makes it easy. I speak the dialect of Qatar Arabic when possible. But when it came to the World Cup, the company that I'm currently in, as a director of the company, I decided to involve myself in bidding for these stadium technology. And when I found out what was being marketed, I said, no, this is very old technology,
Yeah.
and this is not us. We think out of the box.
Yeah.
You know, we are undaunted by failure. And I went out and I searched in the market, and I found the technology that second to none. It was the latest technology that was used in Russia World Cup, and what I managed to do was get the sole distributorship for Africa, for Middle East, and for the entire Asia. So this technology is going to be marketed throughout Africa, and we'll be looking for partners in South Africa, obviously, and Africa, Asia, and the Middle East as well. But how did we win it was the main. It wasn't easy. It was very tough to convince people that this is a technology that is firstly FIFA stamped, it is FIFA approved, it is used in the latest of World Cup. However, I, as Anwar, need some changes to match the country that I reside in. So I want a combination of a little bit of South African flavor mixed up with a bit of Qatari flavor and or Middle East flavor. And what we did was we just I went to the factory and had the technology developed specifically for Qatar.
Okay. Now when I sit back and I listen to you speak, I think this is a man of corporate. We're not going to see him in the streets in Doha. We're not going to see him amongst the people in Doha. But a little while back, we had a group of South African sportsmen that arrived at Hamad International Airport here in Doha to partake in the IAAF Athletics, World Athletics Championship.
Yes.
And who did I see there with the biggest flag in the room was Anwar Al Moola.
Yes.
So we thank you for your efforts that you're putting. We thank you for keeping the flag flying high, literally and physically. And we wish you all the best for the future. This is obviously an achievement, not only for you, but for all South Africans.
Absolutely.
And we will spread this message far and wide, and we will build the pride of our nation throughout the entire globe.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
This is the South African Diplomats YouTube channel And we've been chatting to Anwar Al Moola, a captain of industry, a pride of our nation, and we are exceptionally ecstatic to have him with us here in the studio. Please do like and subscribe to our channel. This is the voice of all South Africans abroad. If you want to know more about how life is for South Africans anywhere in the world, this is the place to be. So click on that link now and subscribe. Till next time, goodbye.
Africa.